So this is the first one. So you'll see there, good exit there from Diogo. You probably want to think about having those legs, keeping them straight rather than jumping off with them slightly bent, but you were nice and stable, and then you straighten them afterwards. So if you can have them just a little bit more straight in the beginning, it's going to help. You can see here how when you went to catch with the arms slightly as well, that's kind of steepened you up, and that's because you provided more drag at the front of the body than the rear of the body. Okay, so if you just try to not hold and catch with the arms, it's going to make that a little bit easier. For yourself, Kiran, that was one of your better exits for sure as well. Nice work orientating towards the front of the plane, a little bit of a kick, that's all good, stable. And you want to start straightening the legs a little bit earlier. So if you started straightening them earlier, that probably would have kept you a bit more forwards. This is the first jump we done. So this is the one where Diogo was leading. So you can see here, now you're tracking off towards the west. Ooh, now starting to come back up jump line. That's why I think you saw me say turn here. There we go. Once you start turning, boom. So you just want to be a little bit more onto that once you start tracking out. Okay, so just getting on that a bit earlier. Good, now we've gone away. So Kiran, you can see here, as I said before, just making sure you're not too much arched. So that's where if your body is in more of a straight line, it's going to pick you up. Your body was nice and straight and the legs were together. So as I said, don't think about pushing if this is your head here, don't think about pushing your hips up. Okay, thinking if you're arching like this with the head here, you want to push the feet down instead of the hips up. Same thing happens, just a different part of tension. Okay, so Diogo was flying, so your position's quite nice. It's just very fast. Okay, so as I said before, if you want to pull your arms back, okay, that's going to allow you to steepen up. Okay, you can see I'm trying to get a little bit faster to catch up to you. As I said here, you can see me wave my arms in. What I was trying to get you to do was slow down a little bit, so that way Kiran could catch up a little bit more, because you're a bit lighter, so you're going to float a lot more. So when you did move your arms out, like I showed you, you moved them out and forward, and then you went even flatter. So it was even harder to come up. So you need to, when you move them out, make sure you keep your body steep. So that way, if we draw on the horizon, like this, with the legs and the heads here, if your arm is back this way, okay, and you want to move them forward, you want to move them forward so they're this way. You don't want to move them forward so they're in line with the body and closer to the body, because if you push your arms from nothing to more closer to the body, it's going to make you go flatter. And that's why the torso, in the end, went like this. So you can see that pitch change between this and this. It's only slightly, but because you've provided drag at the front of the body, and if the arms are here, like in this pit part here, that's more in wind line, so the wind's going to be hitting the body and then flowing along. So now if the arms are there, there's bugger all drag. So if you move your arm down next to the body, that's caused drag, so that's going to flatten the body out. So when you widen them, try to keep them behind you and widen them that way. Okay, but good awareness and following the instructions. This is now getting more technique and more controls. You can see here we're tracking in the right direction, that's good. So we're trying to open up over here. So you had good heading control the whole time, really good. Kiran, same thing, you were just back there. As we said, it was just that you couldn't go much faster. Hey, you can see I'm trying to go pretty quick. I think this is where we started on break off. Everyone split, everyone had good awareness. So that was not an issue. So let's go to the next jump. Boom. Much better exit, good, much better exit there from Diogo. So same thing, you can see those arms come out, and then as soon as you start feeling like you're going forward, you gotta just trust them, keep them back, keep them legs straight. Okay, so the whole fact of pulling them arms out is what's going to make you try and tip over, because all the drag becomes at the front of body. You can see Kiran's arms here, how they're nice and back and behind her, and her only issues is the legs are bent behind her. So if we're looking at this picture on a side on, her body would look like this rather than something like this. So that's Kiran's goal, is to try and think about having those shins in that same line as the torso. If these shins are on a separate line, it's going to cause the body to start sinking like this, okay, because we don't have that drive from the legs. The drive from the legs is what's going to make us go forward, but it's also going to be what pitches us to a steeper position. As soon as we take those legs away and that drag away, the body automatically is going to end up going like this. Okay, and then you'll find as soon as you straighten the legs again, you're going to pitch back up to this. So it's like a bit of a seesaw thing. We up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's just keeping them forwards. And when the body's here, say straight like this. And when you want to bend the legs go forwards and the shins come forward with it. So you don't necessarily bend them like this here. This is a very common habit. Very common, you're not the only one. Okay, nice work getting closer. So you can see how you're losing those arms and then you lose that height. So Diogo, as we spoke about, at the moment you're used to turning with just the shoulders. So you can see here the torso is going from facing this direction to facing this direction to facing this direction to facing this direction. Okay, that's because you're steering from the front of the body. You want to also steer from the knees as well. So if we have a picture here like this, they're the legs, it's a very long legs, and then the arms. Okay, very horrible drawing. But if you're steering from this shoulder and this knee, your whole body is going to shift sideways together. Okay, whereas, like, yeah, that's an arrow, horrible arrow. Whereas if you just turn from the shoulder, the whole body is going to tilt around this angle like this, or bank like that, so it's going to be more wishy-washy. So it's not to say that don't steer with the shoulders, it's just now learn to steer with an extra parts of the body. Cool, so saying get forward, Kiran. You can see now you're nice and forward of the body, your head's naturally starting to come down, but you can see those legs as well, just these shins. So it's just being really aware of those shins and just try to keep them exposed to the wind rather than returning to a semi-belly position. Oh, be maintaining there, it's just a bit wobbly. Just being quieter. You can do it, you got the position, you got the controls, it's just now being smoother with the controls. Okay, so you can see the head's a lot more down now than normal, or it's at least in line with the body, but you can see what I mean by how the belly, more belly arching and falling down rather than having those legs in line with that torso. Okay, so you want them here, then the knees are fine, but then the legs want to be here. But be aware when you do this, your whole body is going to end up in this angle a lot steeper. So then you may need to use more arms because you need to apply that drag somewhere else, because if you go up steeper, it's also going to shoot you off this way. Yeah, so you might need to slow that down by bringing the arms out. Bring them out how I told Diogo not to bring them out. That's why one thing doesn't fit all. Yeah, cool. So now you can see how you're sinking back. The reason you started sinking back is because, one, you've lost the legs. Now you've straightened the legs, but you've started sinking down, so you've reverted to the old belly habit of trying to come up by using your arms to cup the wind. And the problem is when you go to cup the wind like on your belly, you're actually presenting, if I drew a side body like this, the legs and the head, you're presenting all the drag here when you try to cup. So because we're moving in this direction, like this, you're actually slowing yourself down. So because you pulled your arms out to cup, you did the right thing to try and go up, but remember, speed equals lift. So what you want to do is straighten those legs, pull the arms back to your body like you did, and you can cup, but you want to cup down with your arms. If this is the pitch here, you want to cup down with your arms down around here, and you can slowly cup and push the wind that way. Just want to make sure, if I'm drawing a side body like this, say the arms are in this orientation, you don't want to push your arms to a point where they're here like this. The max wants to be in line with the body. The second you start pushing too much, it's going to start also causing drag along this part of the surface area, and that also will start slowing you down slightly. Okay, so it's a fine line. Where you have them here is good, you just need to pull them backwards to maintain that forward speed. So I said straight, quick, boom, boom, boom. You started coming back. It's like legs, whoop. So big focus for yourself is going to be always legs. You can see that's the floppiness there. So great work, Diogo. Good awareness here. A lot of it, I think, is because you're light. You're going to have to just get used to tipping over, getting steeper, and not bending the legs back like I was saying before to Kiran, like this. So your position, say if Kiran or myself we might be in a position like this, flying on an angle here. Yeah, it's a little shitty smiley face. But because you're lighter, your body is going to be in more of a position like this, a lot steeper. So you're just going to have to get used to flying in a steeper angle than everyone else. Okay, it's just how it is. Good track-offs, good awareness, good pitching, no problem. So a lot of the things that you need to take from today is just the legs for yourself, Kiran. Making sure you keep them forwards and not braking with them. Use the arms to brake more than the legs, or if you do use the legs to brake, bring them forward of the body. Okay, not you back like this and returning to the belly position, but keeping them forward. Something good to practice that with is start off on the belly, go into a faster tracking position. Whoop. This with the legs, and then from here purposefully slow down by bending the legs and going like that, and over exaggerate it. So this is an extreme over exaggeration. Okay, you don't want to fly like this all the time. Same with your Diogo. That's the maximum forward, but you want to experience where too far forward is. So go like that. That's how you brake, then return to neutral as much as you can. Fight the habit to return back to this position here. Cool. Hope that makes sense. Cheers, guys. I'll send you through the other one too.